get so, and I feel like a lot of people are this way, but we become so afraid to share our faith because we live in a world where if, you know, we don't, because if we share our faith, people don't want to be around us. And it's that fear of rejection. That's something I've struggled with for a long time. And it's something I still have to overcome. But I know that the more that I put faith in God, the more that He will renew my mind. And I just have to get, as hard as it is, I have to be able to lay myself down and let Him take over. It says, we love because He first loved us. Whoever claims to love God, yet hates a brother or sister, is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen. And He has given us this commandment. Anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister. So one way that I kind of visualize that, and what makes a lot of sense for me, is because if God is living in them, and you hate your brother or sister, you're basically saying that you hate God because God is living in them. If you think about it from that way, and you look at it like you're talking to God or you're saying hateful things to God by saying this to one of your brothers or sisters, you're saying you hate God. And it terrifies me. Just to think that I could do that, I could treat God that way, or treat another person, another human being that way. I've done some awful things in my life. I've treated people terribly, and I look back, I believe the Holy Spirit's reminded me of these ways that I've acted towards people, and I do believe that the way I've treated people, I will be held accountable on the day of judgment. It doesn't mean that I won't enter heaven, but I believe there's certain rewards that wait for us that I may not be able to receive in heaven because of how I've treated people. And that's just something I have to live with. But the fact that I'm able to go to heaven in the first place is a miracle that God allows. Just, we have to think about it like that. If we're speaking these hateful words to people, it says that the power of life and death is on our tongue. And the words that we speak, if we're speaking these hateful words to people, we're also speaking these hateful words to God. We have to start thinking like that, or we're not going to change. So we kind of broke down what love is. God is love. He is our example. So then we go on to how should we love it? Well, how do we go about this thing? All right. So if someone would like to read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1 through 8.
And though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have not charity, I become sounding brass or tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. But God would sell all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It's not puffed up. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. Is not easily provoked, and it taketh not abuse. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away.
So I like that version, and in a way, there's really not a right version there is to the Bible. It's been interpreted so many ways. It's whatever, I believe it's genuine, whatever works for you, I personally like version better because it goes over. I believe charity is part of love, and I'm just going to go over it one more time, and I'll read it from this version, just because I like it a little better. It says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away." Okay, so charity and love encapsulates all. So I do believe that charity is part of that. But I think that love is so much more than just charity. It's a culmination of all these things. It's charity, it's adoration, it's effort, it's time, it's what you value, it's all these different things. And I feel like the word love encapsulates so much. So it tells you, just like with what AJ read, charity and love, it tells you how you should be, how you should act towards one another. Patient, kind. You don't envy, you don't boast, you don't be proud, you don't dishonor others, you don't self-seek, you don't be easily angered, you keep no record of wrongs, you don't delight in evil, you rejoice with the truth. You always protect, always trust, always hope, and always persevere. So it's love never fails, charity never. I don't know about you. That seems like a lot to me. And that seemed like, it honestly seems like a mountain to think that I could even get to that. Because I feel like the problem that I have is the easily angered part. Y'all may not be able to tell, but I am so angry sometimes, and I can't explain it. I don't know why I get angry, but I feel like it's a problem that I've been dealing with since I was a tiny child, and I've tried so hard to let God come in and just change me, and it's hard, but I know that this life is full of struggles, and I know that, I may be struggling with this till the day I die, and God may be letting me deal with this because I haven't learned a lesson. It's still a lesson I need to learn. But I just like this, especially chapter 4, or verses 4 through 8, because it really sets out the gold standard of what love looks like. And that's all that God is. Everything that it said is what God is. He's not prideful, he's patient, he's kind, he's just all these things that encapsulates what God is. And so if we look at this and we look at God like that, we realize that this is who we need to follow. This is the gold standard of what we should be striving for. It may not mean we're going to be loving perfectly, but this is what we should be striving for. And also, like the first half of it, it says you can, like the Pharisees, they were doing all these things, but they didn't have love in their hearts. It was worthless. They thought they were doing all this for the glory of God. They were doing it for the glory of themselves. Christ even rebuked one of the Pharisees. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said that, something about giving, he would only give the least amount or something along those lines. But these Pharisees, they would do these things, but their heart wasn't changed. They had no love in their heart, genuine love in their heart. They were doing these things because they were just to do them, because that's what they believed was right. But if I do not have love, gain nothing. There's no point in anything that we do if we don't love. Love is so important. If we haven't realized that by now, by the fact that we're all here shows that love is so important. The fact that we're a church